Hey everyone, Kyle Lewis here from the Worship Keyboard Tutorial YouTube channel, giving you tips and tricks to help you with your worship keyboard ministry. In this video, we are going to construct an intro by merging the melody with the chord structure and adding a little bit of movement. And we're going to use the song 10,000 Reasons as our example. There's a free PDF that you can get by clicking the link below, which has all of the examples of everything that I'm playing in this lesson. But before we get started, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and that little notification bell so that you can be aware of future videos. And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. All right, if you're ready, let's get started. So a lot of times when you're playing in a band situation, someone like the guitar player or violin or maybe the keyboard player will take just the melody. And sometimes the keyboard player is just going to play the chord structure if someone else is playing that. But there are times, especially if we're going to be playing solo, that we need to actually merge all of that together with the chords and the melody. So that's what we're going to do today in this video. Is we're going to merge melody with the chord structure and add a little bit of movement, just like we would if we were accompanying. So let's look at just the melody first of all. We're going to be in the key of G, and this is the original key. And it goes to that 4 chord to start with, so it goes to that C chord. So here's the melody. So let's look now at the chord structure. I have just a basic chord structure written out here, but we're going to have to modify that when we get to merging that with the melody, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. So our basic chord structure is just a C chord to a G. We have D over F sharp and E minor. Go back to that C chord and then the G, and then we have a D sus going to the D chord there. So now we're going to merge the melody with the chord structure. And I'm going to have to modify the chords so that that melody note stays on top, because I want that melody note to be heard and we want to keep that on top. So even in this first chord going to the C chord, I'm playing my C chord like this so that that E is on the top. Now I'm going to play my G chord like this so that the B is on the top. I'm going to go to my D over F sharp. So notice my melody note now is that A. And then I go to my E minor chord, so now that E is on top. When I go to the next part, I'm actually moving up in that melody. It'd be kind of hard to play that chord. I'm going to play just the moving melody note here. And notice too that I'm actually playing all the notes of the C chord. So I have the root in my left hand, then I have the 3rd and the 5th. Now I'm going to my G chord. That G chord is syncopated, and this is kind of a judgment call, and you will have to kind of decide how you're going to play this. Some people will actually play the bass note syncopated like this. There are times that I will probably play the syncopation in the left hand, but for the most part I want that beat to be felt. So I'm playing the syncopation first and then the downbeat. So that helps keep the time of that regular beat. I'm going to do the same thing with that D chord. I'm going to play the syncopation on the chord but the downbeat on the left hand. So let's hear from that C chord, the second half of that. Going to the D. Let me play that all in context. So for the final step, I'm going to take what we've merged together with the melody and the chord structure, and now we're going to add a little bit of movement in both the left and the right hand, just like I would if I was accompanying myself, but I'm also playing the melody. So we have kind of an accompaniment and melody going on at the same time. So let me play this for you. So you heard how I was using the left hand to add a little bit of movement, and I'm also adding some movement in the right hand. There's a few places that are a little bit different, and I want to talk about those, and I have these labeled in 3 different sections, A, B, and C. So let's take each of these. Let's go to A, and this is where I have the D over F sharp. Now I already have the 3rd in the bass, which is that F sharp. I don't necessarily need it in my right hand, and actually it kind of frees up my right hand to play that melodic line. And then I go to that E minor chord. When I get to the E minor chord, this gets to our next section, which is section B. What I'm doing is I'm landing on that melody note, that single note, but now I'm using my right hand to kind of continue some of that movement. So I'm going to go from that 3rd. I'm doing a little stepwise motion just to kind of keep that movement going. So I have coming from that A section. So I'm just using my right hand to fill in a little bit more of that movement. So now we get to section C, which is that D sus chord. I'm breaking up that 8th note pattern by adding some 16th notes in here. So all I'm doing really is arpeggiating that sus chord by putting that octave up here. So here's my sus chord plus the octave. And then I'm resolving it here. I'm not playing the full chord, I'm just kind of dropping down to that F sharp here with that root on the top. So let me play it one more time in context now that we've talked about these different movements. Well, as I mentioned, this is in the original key of G. Our church does it in D. If your church does it in a different key and you would like a PDF in that key, send me a comment and I can get a PDF link to you. Well, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. And before you sign off, make sure to check out some of these other videos. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you can click this little icon to subscribe. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.